This year, my parents decided to quit their jobs, sell their house, sell almost all of their belongings, and buy a dilapidated property on a tiny Portuguese island. Its name is Madeira. So Nae and I had a couple of weeks holiday before she started her final year at uni, and the timings worked perfectly for us to visit Madeira, so we could explore some of the island and see my parents' house renovations in progress. It is truly a beautiful island, and in this video we share with you some of our favourite moments as we travelled around. If you get the chance, we definitely recommend visiting and checking out some of the places that we show you in this video. The magic of Madeira starts even before you land. There are beautiful views from the plane, and then suddenly you're met by a crazy runway. You can't even see it as you come into land because it's so short. In fact, pilots have to undergo additional training to land there, and it was named the 9th most dangerous airport in the world. Oh, and remember this meme from 2017? Well, yep, Madeira Airport was actually named after Cristiano Ronaldo, and that bronze head was from here. For our first full day in Madeira, we explored all over the island. Our first stop was Cabo Geral, and there sit some of the highest cliffs in the world. They're over half a kilometre high. It's an amazing viewpoint to see out to sea and across the island, and it also has a glass-floored skywalk which gives you the illusion of floating right above this massive drop. Whilst we were in the area, we also took a visit to Camara de Lobos. This is a little fishing village not far from Funchal, and supposedly it inspired Winston Churchill to do some paintings. Also, I have to point out just how stunning the whole of Madeira is. Just driving around it is an experience in itself. You can admire the mountains and the valleys and the ever-changing landscape. There's such a great contrast between driving on some of the older tiny mountain roads and tunnels and some of the newer engineering masterpieces such as the João Gomez Bridge. There's over 150 tunnels in Madeira, and loads of them are hand-carved and still in use. Our exploration of these roads and tunnels took us north to Porto Muniz. It was here that we visited some natural swimming pools. The natural swimming pools here are formed by volcanic lava, and you're swimming in the clear seawater. But beware, there are lots of fish there. This is natural seawater after all. That evening we went to São Vicente for dinner and for some local wine tasting. We went to Justino's, where you can buy wines but also you can taste them for free. And we must have tasted between us like a whole bottle of wine before we even bought one. He just kept giving us these different vintages, different flavours. So we bought a bottle and took it back home to enjoy with the sunset and some light-hearted card games. The next morning, Naomi and I explored Ponce Delgada on foot.
This was a much needed break for me. This year has been a little difficult for me. From being in rural Sweden and spending all my time outdoors to being stuck behind a desk, going to hospital, seeing lots of pain and suffering and also joy. I really needed this break. I spent most of the time reading books, and I felt the sudden urge to create some rubbish poetry and just sit in nature and see what the elements had to teach me about my life. Be as persistent as the waves. Though they recede, you know they're always coming back. Though it may seem futile as they pummel into great rocks, you know that eventually, with time, they will erode any tall mountain, leaving it to sand. If you want to see my take on my trip to Madeira, then check out my more reflective video on the Pity Party Detox channel.
Later that afternoon, we went to the incredible Farha de Padres. It's a secluded beach that can only be reached by boat or cable car. We took the cable car down, which is an experience in itself.
Okay, guys. No, we're good. It's just that initial bit over there.
Isn't it amazing? My ears are popping. Wow.
So his brakes work.
Once you get to the bottom, you walk through this lovely little fruit farm with fresh mangoes and bananas growing. The sun is beating down, and it was just wonderful. We went and found a place on the beach to relax, and then took a swim in the beautiful clear waters, which was so lovely and warm, and you could jump off the pier. After a good night's sleep, we were up early the next day to head to one of Madeira's most revered Levadas, the 25 Fonts. There's loads of great viewpoints to stop at on the way. We stopped at Miradoro Lombo de Moro, which was actually above the clouds. It's so high, it actually stopped feeling high because you couldn't see down past the clouds. You couldn't really tell how high you were. We then arrived at the stunning valley where 25 Fonts is located. We parked our car at the top and we began our journey down. You can take a bus down this first section, but we just decided to walk it because we were going on a walk anyway, so why not?
The walk down to the 25 Fonts is unlike anything I have ever seen. As you meander through the paths, you're surrounded by the sound of running water, birds flying freely, and all you can see is light streaking through the trees, all bent over, inching through the darkness to get to the light. This place was truly magical. I could do nothing but stay silent. I looked upon the trees and the landscape with great reverence. It is one of the places I truly recommend if you ever take a trip to Madeira.
We eventually arrived at the 25 Fonts. It's called this because there's 25 fountains that stream down these rocks and pour into the pool at the bottom, and that is the source of the Levada. Now everyone says that on a hot day it's great to take a dip in here, jump in and cool down. Well, it was definitely not a hot day when we were there. We'd got there by about 10:30 in the morning, so it was still warming up. I couldn't miss the opportunity to get in there though. It looked very inviting and such fresh water, so I had to do it.
I, on the other hand, went out. I had all the intentions to have a swim, but when I felt the ice-cold water on my toes, I decided the only course of action was to become Jack's cheerleader.
Go on, honey. Woo! 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 Woo!
We had a super early flight back the next day because we had to get home, we had to have time to wash some clothes and pack for our next trip to Lithuania because we were going to be leaving the following day. That's another story, so make sure you're subscribed to know when we post that video. We had a great time in Madeira, and there's so much to see for such a small island. We can't wait to go back and explore more. If you'd like to know more about Madeira, or the process of moving there, or you're just curious, definitely check out The Bright Journey, where Rae and Andrew talk more about their process and their journey. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to see more like this.